Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's training on one of the most overlooked and underserved segments in real estate, the self employed buyer. Now, before we get started, I'm Paula Huhn with Funding America Mortgage. I do these webinars to help support my realtors and for any realtors really, so that we can all have better informed people out there helping buyers and sellers do what's right for them financially, right? So that's the whole purpose of these webinar series. I'm so happy you're here today. And I'm really excited because this is a very popular topic. And there are some wonderful solutions that I think you will be able to utilize in your marketing. So you got to remember that the small business buyer, these clients are everywhere in your sphere. But many agents miss the opportunity because they assume business owners can't qualify for traditional financing. Today, we're changing that narrative and showing you exactly how to turn these prospects into closed transactions. Okay. So here's why most agents don't realize nearly 20% of US home buyers are self employed, and that number continues to grow each year. The gig economy, entrepreneurship boom, and a shift towards independent contracting, this all means more of your potential clients fall into this category than ever before. Okay. By the end of this training, you'll know exactly how to spot these opportunities, set realistic expectations with your clients, and turn this knowledge into compelling content and conversations that attract new business. Many of these clients could qualify today if their agent knew which path to guide them toward. That agent should be you. Okay. So let's first start with a quick question. Raise your hand if you ever had a small business owner or a 1099 client get told they can't buy right now. If you're like most realtors, you've seen this scenario play out multiple times. The client has great credit, money in the bank, and a thriving business, but somehow they get turned away by traditional lenders. These are just some stats. Again, 20% self employed buyers, 70% of them could qualify today. And this is one of my favorite ones. Average timeline for alternative documentation loans 3 to 4 weeks. That's the average time. Some can take longer, some shorter. But isn't that interesting that they don't take longer than your traditional lending? A lot of times, lenders will flip the script and, because they're trying to win a deal, try to convince the buyer that, oh, you could go that route, but it's going to take longer. It's better if it's going to take longer to close. You better wait 1 or 2 years of profitable years on your tax returns. That are some lines that people say that lenders will say to small business owners. Okay. So understanding the challenges self-employed buyers face is the first step in helping them succeed. Traditional mortgage underwriting was designed for W-2 employees with predictable paychecks, not for entrepreneurial reality of variable income and strategic tax planning. The good news, the mortgage industry has evolved significantly. More lenders now offer alternative documentation programs and a common sense underwriting approaches specifically designed for entrepreneurs. These programs look at actual cash flow, bank deposits, and business performance rather than just tax returns. Okay. Now, what makes it hard for lenders for entrepreneurs? Well, small business owners reduce their tax burden by reducing legitimate business expenses, right? So they have a lot of write offs. And this saves them time at tax or saves them money at tax time. It lowers their income on paper. So the same income that lenders traditionally use to qualify buyers, right? So with a small business, we're not looking at gross, which is traditionally what we look at with your W-2 employees. We're actually looking at the net. Okay. Yes, there are some things that we can add back in, but actually looking at that net income. So that's the amount of income that they're going to transfer over to that page one. A business owner earning 150,000 might show only 60,000 in taxable income and write-offs. That's a significant difference in income, which means that's a significant deduction in their buying power. And they also have inconsistent pay patterns. Underwriters love consistency. They love predictability. They want to know that what you're earning right now is going to continue for at least the next 3 years. So, unlike salaried employees, entrepreneurs, they experience seasonal fluctuations. They have multiple revenue streams, consulting fees, product sales, rental income, 1099 contracts. That doesn't fit neatly into the traditional lending predictability. And finally, documentation gaps. So traditional lenders want to see 2 years of complete tax returns, consistent W-2s, and pay stubs. Well, number one, not all business owners who are successful have been in business for 10 years. Some of them just started. Okay. They don't have W-2s. Their pay stubs are bank statements, right? Bank deposits. They're, profit and loss statements. And lenders training conventional guidelines, they don't understand how to evaluate an actual cash flow versus reported income. Okay. And that's what I was saying. There are a lot of great changes in the market right now, and a lot of lenders who are open and understanding of these struggles and really want them to succeed. Okay. So, quick story, I had a bakery client, and she thought she had to wait at least a year to qualify because she had a really good year. She had really good year, a really low year, and a really good year. Okay. Now, the 2 year tax return would have been the low year and the good year. But when we averaged them out, she didn't make enough to qualify. But we worked together using her bank statement deposits to document her true income. And we closed her loan in just 3 weeks. She's now building equity in her own home instead of paying her landlord's mortgage. Right. And stories like this happen every week when realtors know what's possible and connect their self employed clients with the right lending solution early in the process. That right lending solution is the person who understands how a small business income can be calculated. All right, so let's talk about possibility, not paperwork, right? Your job as a realtor isn't to become a loan officer or memorize underwriting guidelines. It's to know the option exists and connect your clients with a lender who specializes in these programs. Here are the main pathways that help self employed buyers qualify. Okay. Number one, the bank statement loan. These are used, you can qualify using either 1 year bank statements or 2 years. You can use personal bank statements if a small business is um, um, a true small business where the owner um, uses their commingles. That's the word I was looking for. Commingles their personal and business in one checking account. You can use their personal bank statements, right? It can be based on that. Or if they do keep it separate, we just we'll look at the business. The lender analyzes actual cash deposits to calculate the income, and this makes it perfect for clients whose bank accounts tell a different story than their tax returns, right? The person that this is great for, hairstylists, contractors, consultants, photographers, um, your gig employees, like your ride sharers, things like this. Okay. So here's how your talking point is. If you're in an Uber and you're talking to your Uber driver about what you do, which by the way is a fantastic way to get business, is to talk about what you do with everyone you come in contact with. You say if your money is coming in consistently, there's likely a way to document it. So if they're concerned, oh, I tried to get a mortgage, told no because I can't show all the income I make. There you go. There's your hook. If money's coming in consistently, there's likely a way to document it. Okay. Then you have your 1099 only loans. These are perfect for independent contractors who receive a 1099 but doesn't have traditional business tax returns. That includes you. That includes realtors. A lot of my realtor clients use this 1099 program to buy their investment properties, to buy their next flip, to purchase their home, their first home, their second home, to move up, to move down, whatever. Um, Freelance designers are great for this, consultants, anyone who gets a 1099. And sometimes this is a little tricky because they think they work for a company, right? But they don't. They're not getting a W-2. They're getting a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks or whatever, but they're not getting a W-2. There's no taxes taken out. So at the end of the year, what they get, instead of a W-2, they get a 1099. All right. Just want to clarify that. So if you are talking to a fellow realtor or if you're talking to um, your cousin who does freelance design. If you get 1099 income, you can buy using that income without needing 2 years of full tax returns, right? That's powerful. That's giving them hope. Okay. We can also do a P&L or a CPA letter, right? So profit and loss, P&L stands for profit and loss statement. Think of this as well, it's kind of like a pay stub for a small business. Okay. So it's going to show how much money you brought in this year so far, how much how much you had in expenses, and and it'll do the math. Okay. Typically these are done by your bookkeeper or a third party. Most small business owners, they don't keep an active profit and loss statement. They have their accountant do it at the end of the year, or again, like I said, they have a bookkeeper. A CPA letter can also help. Okay. So using a verified profit and loss statement paired by a licensed CPA, or like I said, a bookkeeper, that can also demonstrate your income. And it works well for established businesses with organized financial records, professional accounting support. Again, your average contractor is probably not going to have a profit and loss statement right away. They would need to hire someone to do that. Um, but if they have a larger contracting business, they may have decided to delegate their bookkeeping and their information to a CPA who does keep a running total of the books. Asset depletion loans. Many people don't think about asset depletion and small business owners. Guess what? Small business owners, they still save money just like anyone else. And when buyers with substantial savings, investments, or retirement accounts, lower reported income, we can actually qualify income based or on liquid assets divided over the loan term. Okay. This is really great if you have an early retiree, an investor, entrepreneurs who reinvest heavily in their business. Again, if they have a lot of savings, we can also use that to help them qualify. And then finally, you have your regular traditional full doc loans. This is conventional financing. And I'm going to be honest, most loan officers don't know how to calculate small business income. It is not complicated. It really is very easy. And maybe I say this because I get it, but there's a lot of information out there that we have available to us to help us calculate the income from a small business. We just need the right documentation. We need the business tax returns for 2 years. We need the personal tax returns for 2 years. No matter what type of business it is, an LLC, an S Corp, a corporation, we have a way of calculating that income and help them get pre-approved with the right information. Um, and I've also had this instance where I think it was a contractor. Contractor was told no, he couldn't qualify. But the problem was the lender he was using wasn't using any of the add backs that you're allowed to use. And so I was like, all right, well, let me take a look at the tax returns because maybe there was a reason they couldn't use it. Not only did they just not do the add backs, okay, which was significant, they also missed something that again, I knew you could add back in that many loan officers missed. And so they were able to buy it was a $568,000 home, and this guy was told no before. So when qualifying clients, I always start with the traditional way because I want to see, hey, did the people they talked to before miss something? And then from there, then we're going to go into some of these non-traditional ways of getting your clients into a home. So there's always an option. It just depends on the client's unique situation and how early you get a qualified vendor involved in the conversation. This cannot happen in a day. I cannot issue a pre-approval on a small business client in a day, same day. It's not going to happen. They're probably not going to have their paperwork ready. Number one. Number two, sometimes it takes a while to do the calculations. Okay. So the worst thing you can do is assume a self employed buyer can't qualify and never introduce them to the right resources. Get a lender involved right away. Okay. So, what do you say? What do you say? Right. So, how can you actually use this knowledge? Well, here's some conversations. When you're talking to people, are you self employed? There's some new loan programs that actually work well for business owners. Want me to introduce you to my lender who specializes in this, right? Don't assume you can't buy because of write offs or variable income. Let's find out what's really possible. I work with a lender who helps entrepreneurs every day. My favorite, I know qualifying can be different for business owners. Let's get you connected with the right financing expert early so there are no surprises. Um, I do like surprises, but not when it comes to lending. Okay. So where do you find these guys? Where do you find self-employed buyers? Well, anywhere, right? You can live in your own sphere of influence, review your contact list. How many friends, past clients, or acquaintances run side hustles, freelance, own a small business? Who did you get into a home 5 years ago that maybe now they started their own bakery or cookie company or whatever? It happens. We'll reach out to them and say, hey, rates are dropping. You might be able to refinance, help your business, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe they reach out to you saying, hey, I want to upgrade my home. I want to move. I have to move to another area, but I started a small business. I'm not sure if I qualify. You won't know until you call them. So you got to call your past client list, or I can't even call them past clients. You got to call your client list constantly, find out what's going on. Local Facebook groups. There's a Facebook group. I think at Bit by Now, we have learned there's a Facebook group for almost anything. Join those for photographers, landscapers, salon owners, fitness trainers, any service provider, and start marketing that you can help them buy a home. Networking events, right? So go to your chamber of commerce meetings, a BNI, local vendor fairs, entrepreneurial meetups. These are great opportunities to meet small business owners because small business owners also know other small business owners. Um, Maybe I'll do a training on networking because I think when you go to network, you shouldn't be asking for clients, you should be asking for other referral sources, but that's a whole other training. Okay. Industry associates, connecting with organizations for contractors, consultants, creative professionals. These are all great things to do as well to help you get connected to the right people who are going to need these services. Right. Now, how do you market? Right? What do you do? What can we do? How do we get our how do we get our voice out there? You know? Well, this is great. I'm a huge fan. You all know I'm a huge fan of video content. Right? And they're simple videos. These hooks are super easy. Hey, think you can't buy a home because you're self-employed? Think again. If you're a small business owner, I've got good news. You don't need a W-2 to qualify for a home loan. I'm working with a lender who helps entrepreneurs buy homes using bank statements instead of tax returns. Feature a quick client testimonial with their permission if you've done these before. That always helps. But those are great hooks. Those should be your title. Those would be the things that, hey, I'm a small business owner and I want to buy a house. They're going to click on your video, right? You can also create social media posts and carousels. Self employed, you can buy two. Let's make a plan. Share educational carousels, explaining bank statement loans, post client success stories, create polls. Are you self employed and think you can't buy? Or you can even go, who are my salon owners? Who are my small business owners? Who has a small business that they just started within the last 2 years? Who has a small business that just started it in the last 5 years? Those types of questions are fantastic. Or even asking for opinions or options. Hey guys, I've been really thinking about um, dog walking, right? That line, I've been thinking about dog walking. Who do you guys know who currently does who's a dog walker? I need to connect with them. You technically are thinking of dog walking because you're thinking of connecting with dog walkers who, by the way, make a lot of money. Um, let's connect and see if you can help them purchase a home, right? And then community engagement, sponsor a local business spotlight video, right? Go to different local businesses. This is such a fantastic strategy that is not used a lot. I don't know why. Host a business owners buy two informational night, so like a home buying seminar for self-employed buyers. Hand out buyer checklists for entrepreneurs at farmers markets, maybe business expos, things like that. And then partner with co-working spaces to present lunch and learns, right? There's a ton of co-working spaces all around South Jersey and Philadelphia area. You can go and say, hey, I want to give your tenants a benefit. I want to talk to them about how they can buy a house, right? Partner, grab a loan officer, someone who's always willing to come out and do those things and do those speaking engagements and teach. And you will find you'll get, a few people interested and expand your network. Okay. So again, you have to position yourself as that go-to agent. You want to make your target clear. Self-employed buyers who think they can't buy yet, these are the clients often agents are ignoring and dismissing. They're motivated, they often have strong cash flow and desperately want to stop renting. They just need someone who believes in them and knows the path forward. All right. So remember, your job isn't to do the math, right? Your job is to open the door. You don't need to become a lending expert. You simply need to recognize the opportunity, have the right conversation, and connect your client with a lender who specializes in serving entrepreneurs. And that key is consistency. Make it clear through your marketing that you understand the self employed experience and have the resources to help, and position yourself as the agent who gets it when it comes to entrepreneurial buyers. I had a couple more partnerships, ways of doing that. I help business owners stop renting, start building equity, even if they write off half their income. This is another part that I love. Partner with your lender for maximum endpoint, right? Do joint content creation. This way, it's not just you saying it, it's the lender saying it, right? Collaborate on video, social posts, live Q&A sessions. I was just thinking about this today that like the Facebook Live just kind of like died. Like, no one ever promotes that anymore. It was really big in like 2020, 2021, and no one does it. When you co-create content with a lending expert, you're multiplying your credibility and your reach. So maybe do like a monthly consistent, Q&A session. Get that co-branding marketing down. 5 ways small business owners can buy a home, another hook, the self-employed buyer's guide, things like that. And ChatGPT can help you write these. Okay. Utilize the tools, right? I don't look at it as anything other than a tool. Utilize the tool to help your time management so that you don't feel like, oh, I have to create something, right? Even Canva is starting to get a little hard. Um, when you can just say, hey, go in your Gemini, your Chat GPT and have it create it for you. And make sure you have a streamlined process. Build a system, right? You have to have a system for follow-up and do that for the self-employed increase. When someone asks about buying, immediately respond, let's see if your business income qualifies. I'm going to connect you with my lender partner and then make sure they have a specific system. When you have a system, it's very hard to have things fall through the cracks. It's very hard to find that, oh, I didn't know, or I just caught this. Okay. Uh, so here's 3 things you can start today to help boost your business, and try to get some of these small business owners under contract, really, or at least get started. And hopefully, they can either get pre approved by the end of the year. Um, they can get pre approved before the end of the year and get on the contract, or you can really kind of add up your beginning of 2026. So create your first piece of content. I want you to pick one small business that you love in your community. Record a short 30-second video tomorrow, giving them a shout out. Tied to homeownership, right? Supporting local businesses like blah, blah, blah is what makes our community great. And as a business owner myself, because as a realtor, you are a business owner, I know how important it is to find the path to homeownership that works for entrepreneurs, right? And then you can talk a little bit about the small business. Review your current pipeline. Remember, we talked about following up, going to your current clients. Okay. Then we're not going to call them past clients. They're still your clients. Even once they get that key, they're still your client. Look for your current and past clients. How many are self employed? Reach out with a simple message. I've been learning about some new loan programs for business owners. Wanted to make sure you knew about them if you or anyone in your network is thinking about buying. Really simple. It's a great reason to call, right? And it's all true. You did just learn about some new products. You did want to reach out. You're thinking about them. You remembered they're a small business owner. How cool is that, right? And connect before they assume. From today forward, send any self employed buyer to a specialized lender before they assume they can't qualify. If they're told no, their income isn't enough, make sure you get a second opinion. Okay. Early intervention is everything. The earlier you get an expert involved, the more likely you'll save the deal and close that transaction. Okay. And now you have the knowledge. So you know who to target, you know what to say, you know why this market is wide open. Self employed buyers represent a massive opportunity that most agents will overlook. Okay, by positioning yourself as the agent who understands their unique situation, develop the right lending partners, you're going to attract a steady stream of qualified, motivated buyers. Okay, they're tired of renting, they want to build the equity. They don't want to build the equity. Let's stop that narrative, right? What they want is a home. They want the nice kitchen. They want the beautiful backyard. They want a place where they can relax because business owners work hard. You know that better than anyone because you guys work way more than 40 hours a week. So do most entrepreneurs. They want a place that they can call their own rather than working all day, trying to make a dollar, and then they go home and they don't even own that place. Like, give them that peace of mind. Selling that story. Remember, we're not selling them equity, future financial gains and benefit and health and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we are doing that, but no one cares about that. What they care about is that their dog can be let out in the backyard because now it's fenced in, it's theirs, and they don't have to go for this hour-long walk in 5 o'clock in the mornings, right? They want their kids to each have a room so they start arguing. They want their woman cave or man cave downstairs so during game day, they can be as loud as they want and not interrupt people. They want to have family over for Thanksgiving. They want to have the smell of baked cookies every Saturday for their kids to come running into. They want these experiences. That's what we sell. Okay. So the question isn't whether these opportunities exist, they do. The question is, are you going to be the agent that decides to be a niche marketer and go after these clients and position yourself as a small business expert or specialist? Because that's how you're going to win in this market. That is the end of the presentation.